Hi and good morning from day 5 of our trip to New York City. So right now we're heading on, well, we're getting on this subway right over, where is it? Right there. There it is. And we are heading to go take a tour of the One World Trade Center. So I made a boo-boo. We're actually going to the 9/11 Memorial, right, Mama? We're going to the 9/11 Memorial.
I know, I'm excited.
I thought we were going to the One World Memorial. Yeah. We are doing it just a little bit later. Hi, Dennis. All right, made it off the train. Now we're heading upstairs to the 9/11 Memorial. I don't know, I thought, well, we are gonna go to the One World Trade Center Memorial later on today, I think around 2 o'clock. Right now it's 9:30. So now we're going to the 9/11 Memorial. So we came from that direction over there where the subway was. We're heading over there towards the museum, but this is the September 11th Memorial. Over here you can see the reflection pools right there, and then right behind that is the One World Trade Center, the Freedom Tower. We'll come back here in a little bit, I'm pretty sure, but this is a really, really beautiful area and memorial over here. On the other side of the pools, they have some construction fences up, and they have a bunch of these stars that look like they were decorated by kids in schools potentially. They're really, really, really cool. Pretty much right underneath the Freedom Tower. Over there, there's one pool right there, and then there's one over here, but we are going to the museum, which is, I think, over in this direction. We will be touring this just a little bit later, and that's gonna be really interesting. I've never been in there before. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Are you excited to check out the 9/11 Memorial?
It's amazing. Look at the shape of this building.
It is very, very interesting.
That's the new one, that small one right above us.
Yeah, that one was just completed. I said I've never been in there before, like it's been there for a long time, but it was just completed pretty recently. All right, so we're inside the museum. We just went through security. Right over here are some steel beams that were from one of the World Trade Center buildings. I'm sure we'll pass by those again in a second, but what the group wants to do first is go right over here to the auditorium. I think they're playing a 15-minute long movie, so we're gonna watch that first. All right, so we just finished with the 15-minute long film that was more or less an introductory to the mood of the tour that we're going to be taking as we go around the museum today. Here are those beams that I was looking at earlier from the balcony. It looks like I'll get a little bit closer of a view down there here in just a little bit, but I'm going to go rendezvous with the family. I think we're down here somewhere. So we came down the stairs and I caught up with the family, and this is a map of the memorial and museum, and I think we're going to be heading this way, and I'll try to film as much as I can, but I can't really film everything at museums. This is the first thing that we see about 8:30 a.m. September 11, 2001, a view of New York City, of Manhattan from Brooklyn. So on September 11, 2001, 4 commercial airplanes were hijacked after their departures from Boston, Massachusetts, Newark, New Jersey, and Washington, D.C. In a coordinated attack that transformed the planes into weapons, the hijackers intentionally flew 2 of the planes into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, and then another into the Pentagon, and the 4th plane was grounded in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people were killed on that day, the single largest loss of life resulting from a foreign attack on American soil. Approximately 2 billion people, almost 1/3 of the entire world's population, are estimated to have witnessed these horrific events directly or via television, radio, and internet broadcasts that day. So this right here, this is called the Slurry Wall. This was built prior to the construction of the World Trade Center in 1966 to prevent water from seeping into the construction site. They were constructing the World Trade Center, and this was a big concern that this was going to be breached on 9/11, but thankfully it wasn't. So this is part of the original structure that's still here. We're technically next to the North Tower site currently. Right there, that is the last column. And that was a symbolic piece of steel when they were doing the recovery efforts and the debris cleanup. That was chosen to be the last column. And you can see a lot of first responders and volunteers and families of victims of the 9/11 attacks. They signed it and inscribed it, and they left memorial photographs and art all over it. So that is the last column. So construction began on August 5th, 1966 of the World Trade Center, and it was completed and dedicated officially on April 4th, 1973, and this is the dedication plaque right here, and you can see that it's in a pretty tattered condition because this was, I guess, pulled from the rubble after the incident of 9/11. You can just see that it's all bent and torn up and damaged. The dedication plaque was right there, and if I look over the edge here, you can see part of the foundation for the original North Tower. Right here, this is the reflection pool that goes all the way down there, which we'll check out on the surface. And this is a piece of the North Tower facade. So this piece of steel, once part of the north facade of the North Tower, was located at the point of impact where hijacked Flight 11 pierced the building at the 93rd through the 99th floors. So this was from the point of impact at the North Tower. That is absolutely insane. So this is actually really interesting. In between the North and the South Towers, they have an art installation created in 2014 composed of 2,983 individual watercolor drawings, each a distinct attempt by the artist to remember the color of the sky on the morning of September 11, 2001. Every square is a unique shade of blue, combining to create a panoramic mosaic of color. The work centers on the idea of memory. What one person perceives as blue might not be the same as what another person sees, yet our memories, just like our perception of color, share a common reference. So these stairs here are actually very significant. These are known as the survivors' stairs, because these stairs were used by survivors on 9/11 to get out of the World Trade Center as it was on fire and collapsing, and these stairs were used because they protected people from debris, burning debris, falling debris, and the damage that you see actually wasn't from 9/11, it was from the demolition and the cleanup recovery attempt, but they were saved by preservationists and survivors and advocated to be, I guess, utilized for remembrance purposes in the museum. So it's really, really interesting. These stairs saved hundreds and hundreds of lives. So that would have been the North Tower over there. Over here would have been the South Tower. And just like over there, they have the foundation for the columns, the box columns here. So steel columns, known as box columns for their rectangular shape and hollow center, provided structural support for the twin towers and created their distinctive facades. So some relatives of 9/11 victims joined with landmark preservationists to advocate that the cutoff columns be designated as historical remnants of the World Trade Center site. So that's what's left over here. They kind of cut off the columns at at this elevation and preserve them just like this to kind of show off a footprint of the building. So over here on the other side of the South Tower, they still have the steel foundations here. Right in there was an in memoriam of the victims and first responders of the 9/11 attacks. Right here is another short film, about an 11-minute long short film. Over here is a fiberglass statue of the Statue of Liberty that was left at a fire station where 15 firefighters died responding to the 9/11 attacks, and they put it here on display. And then right down there is another, I'm assuming, steel girder from the South Tower. Okay, no, I was wrong. This is, again, part of the North Tower. So on 9/11, hijacked Flight 11 tore into the north facade of the North Tower, creating a gash from the 93rd through the 99th floors and tearing apart steel columns weighing many tons. The underbelly of the aircraft mangled the top of this facade segment with force sufficient to twist and shred the steel. So this is from the North Tower, and the aircraft actually bent this and contorted it in the way that it did. That is incredibly interesting right there to be able to see that. So I'm heading into the south excavation area. So this excavation reveals the actual depth of the foundational support of the box columns, which were set within a concrete base atop a bedrock layer of Manhattan schist. So there's another box column right there, and you can see kind of the depth in which these foundations were set for the South Tower over here, because we're going lower and lower and lower in this direction. Well, this was all cut at a uniform level from preservationists, but you can kind of see the transition from steel to concrete to wood to bedrock. Sorry about the frame rate of the camera, but it's very interesting how you can kind of just make up the different foundations that made the buildings possible, and these were the tallest buildings on Earth when they were constructed. So this is Manhattan schist, which is a durable metamorphic rock, which is the major geological formation running beneath the streets of lower Manhattan that's strong enough to build skyscrapers on. So they kind of utilized a combination of this rock as well as the slurry wall that prevented water from getting into the construction site, so that they could actually construct the World Trade Center, because it was a project like no other in size and complexity and revolutionary concepts. Alright, so I can't show off every detail of the museum, obviously, so I'm heading back from the South Tower over to the North Tower area now. So this right here is a segment from the North Tower radio and television communications antenna. A transmission tower approximately 360 feet tall assembled atop the roof of the North Tower is what distinguished it from its twin. So this is the North Tower here, and this is the communications antenna right there, and this is a segment from that antenna. Next to the communications antenna are more foundations for the box columns here at the footprint of the North Tower, and then they left one so you could see what it actually would have looked like if they didn't cut it off right there. So they're hollow inside. So over there is what's left of an elevator motor, and right here is what's left of a fire truck. It took a lot of damage and debris from 9/11. The back of it is almost completely crushed. Wow. And now I'm underneath this girder, which is what I was looking down at from up there. Following the box columns over here, I can see where we were looking down from the balcony earlier, because that's the slurry wall right there, and the last column right over here. So this is the last column, which was given its name because it was the last piece of steel removed from the Ground Zero recovery cleanup operation, and it became kind of a totem pole for the workers showing up to the job site to do the recovery and cleanup. And so it became very, very famous. You can see all of the tributes left on the column to either fallen civilians or first responders, and that's very interesting. Right next to that is again the slurry wall. Sorry if it's a little bit blurry. There we go. That is just massive and huge. This was again constructed for the construction of the World Trade Center in 1966. I backed up a bit so you could kind of get an idea of the scale of this room and the slurry wall. And the last column, we started the tour up there. Underneath the North Tower site is an exhibition, so I think I'm gonna go check that out real quick. I don't think there's any filming in there, so I'm gonna go in there, see what it's about. So I just finished the exhibition tour right over there, and I came up the stairs, and now I'm over here by these facade remnants here that I passed by going down the stairs earlier. So part of the South Tower's south facade and the North Tower's east facade withstood the force of the building's collapse. The jagged fragments were so huge and heavy that they could only be transported from the site in sections, requiring the skills of engineers and demolition experts. That's incredible. So that pretty much completed our tour. I didn't get to film anything in the exhibition, but it was very, very interesting and very, very heavy stuff in there. But I'm heading upstairs right now because I think Dennis and my dad are upstairs having a little bit of a lunch. All right, just came up the stairs, and here's Dennis and Dad, and they got me a little sandwich here. I don't know what kind of a sandwich it is, but I am starving, so I will eat it. It's a little bit of a late lunch right now, but we're trying to coordinate where Mom is and where we need to meet for our tour of the Freedom Tower here, hopefully very soon. All right, we just exited out of the museum. Now we're passing by the memorial over here to head over to the Freedom Tower for our tour, which starts in about 5 minutes or so. I finished about half of that sandwich, and then I gave the other half to my mom, who's up here. We finally all reconvened. I'd like to come back and check out the fountain memorials a little bit more, but we're kind of down to the wire in terms of our time reservation for our tour over here, but luckily it's right across the street. All right, we made it inside the One World Observatory. Now we are heading downstairs to rendezvous with our group for our 2 o'clock tour. Right now it is 2 o'clock. All right, so we're just on time, more or less. And now we're down the escalator. We have our tickets for the One World Observatory. This is pretty exciting. Access to all 3 floors of the One World Observatory. Arrival via the Skypod elevators, traveling 102 stories in 47 seconds. All right, so we are about to go on our tour. Looks like the Freedom Tower opened up in 2015, the One World Trade Center. Wow, this is really, really cool. So I think we're heading in this direction to hop on our elevator. We came from this direction, and now we are in what looks like a cave, which is interesting, but the bedrock foundations where you stand were formed 450 million years ago. That's interesting, so I guess it's talking about the foundation that the building is built on. Tower 1 rises from a foundation of solid bedrock, known as Manhattan schist. There we go. The foundation is a form of granite, which anchors Tower 1. Sorry about the frame rate. Again, it's very dark in here. The New York skyline you see today rises from this rock solid foundation, firmly attached to this anchor. 45,000 tons of structural steel rise above you. This is a very bizarre way to get to an elevator.
Wow. They said it's a simulation kind of thing.
Already yours on here. It's a populated place, isn't it?
This is cool.
That's not the real deal, is it? It's simulated, right? Huh? Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know.
That's how look how far we're up tonight, almost 1,000 feet already. Yeah,
Welcome to One World Observatory.
All right, that was cool. That was a simulation rising from the rock all the way up to the 102nd floor. This is an entire experience over here. This is bizarre.
Dynamic, diverse, and ever-changing, the city and skyline reveal themselves uniquely to each observer. Experience the infinite facets of the city beneath us as you prepare to see forever.
That was cool. Holy crap.
And now, we invite you to enter One World
Did you see that?
Through the doors on your right.
So we just came from that direction. That's where that presentation was. And down there is the One World Observatory. And look at this view. There's the Statue of Liberty way over there. That's New Jersey, I believe. Brooklyn's over there. We'll go down here in just a second. But I don't know, this is really, really cool. That was a presentation. They have a cafe over here where you can get some pastries and donuts.
Sit down a minute.
Really? Your feet hurt?
Yeah.
I guess we have been walking around museums and memorials all day long. I might get a pretzel. I don't know.
Or cheesecake.
Next to the danishes and pastries, over there they have some hot sandwiches and pizzas over here, and I think my mom is getting a pizza. I think Dennis already went down to the observation deck. So there's mom over there getting her pizza. Dennis came upstairs. Hey, bud. Did you go to the observation floor down there?
Yeah, you know, where you should actually go to look at the views.
We'll get down there. Mom really wanted the pizza. Dad wanted the banana. Can you blame him? So right over here, kind of behind this curtain, is an actual restaurant, and I'm being very intrusive by showing off over there. There's also a bar and stuff over there too. All right, here's Mama's pizza. Is it good? The lighting is really weird in here because all the light's coming from outside, so everything's gonna be like really, really backlit. This whole video has been a struggle when it comes to filming, especially with all the frame rate and the lighting issues and then all the backlight. I'm trying to do my best. Dennis, can you blame me? So there's Dennis and my dad and my mom up there. I came down to the main floor of the observatory to start looking around. It's very busy down here, but hopefully if the light agrees and it's not too backlit, I can kind of start to explore a bit. So over here there's something called a sky portal, which is interesting. It's something you can walk on as if... No, it's not real, but it's simulated as if we were just kind of walking above the street level way, 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 way down there. There's a lot of ground to cover in the observatory. I'm pretty sure that this kind of orients where you're looking outside. So this is west out of this window. So that's going to be Jersey City over there, New Jersey. So that's really, really cool. Probably going to show the same view kind of a lot as I kind of make my way around the observatory. But this is just incredible. We are so high up right now. This is where we took our cruise last night when we went around the Statue of Liberty over to the Brooklyn Bridge and then back. So this is kind of the main path of our cruise from last night. So what do you think, Mom?
It's amazing.
Have you ever been this high? Have you ever been this high?
No.
This is the tallest building, I believe, in the Western Hemisphere, right, Dennis?
I've been to the Empire State Building, but I'm not sure where that is.
That's way over there. So now we're kind of looking northwest a little bit towards Manhattan. Yeah, it's right there.
Where are you going?
Right there. Kind of moving in the reverse direction of the compass rose, but this is north. Right here, you can see all of Manhattan right there, pretty much in this shot. Directly in front of us is the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Buildings over there. Wow, that is so, so cool. What a beautiful, beautiful shot. And then just looking down, we're looking down on a skyscraper. That's how tall, that's how high up we are. We're trying to take pictures in front of the window, but it's so backlit. It's kind of hard to get a good picture. So we're making our way, I think, over in this direction to the southeast kind of part of the observatory. So this is a look out of the northeast side of the tower. There's Manhattan again. Over here we can start to see the Brooklyn Bridge. We'll get a better view of that in a second, but then that makes that Brooklyn over there, the Queens back there, and then the Bronx back there. There's the gift store over here making this part of the building considerably more busy, but this is the east view out of the One World Trade Center. It's still hard to get over the fact that we are towering over other skyscrapers, but there's the Brooklyn Bridge right there that leads into, obviously, Brooklyn. Not a lot of other notable things over on this side, at least to me. I think Chinatown's kind of back in here somewhere. Moving a bit further down over to the southeast part of the building. Way over there is Governor's Island. That's the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. You can kind of see the Statue of Liberty way over there. And Ellis Island, Liberty Island, Staten Island back there. What I think is most notable is if you look directly down, you can see the 9/11 memorial down there, as well as the footprints of the south and north towers down there from the original World Trade Center. It's kind of hard to see because of the glare. There we go. All right, now for the south side of the building to check out the view over here, which is predominantly going to be what you just saw, but a better view of the Statue of Liberty right there, and Ellis Island and Staten Island back there in the distance. This is the kind of the tip of Manhattan. Brooklyn's back over there to the left, and Governor's Island right there. This is a really, really cool view. It's kind of cool to see from an aerial point, I guess, the cruise that we took last night, kind of where we went, where we ended up, and then how we turned around over there at the Brooklyn Bridge, and then made our way all the way back. But this is it. This is the south view of Manhattan. So also over here in the south part of the building is a media presentation, almost seminar, called City Pulse, where they talk about the different things, opportunities, entertainment offerings, food, and people of New York. And I just watched it, and it's actually really, really interesting. But I do want to turn over here and show off my final direction to check out from the tower, which is going to be the southwest. And here it is, not much different than the south and the western views from the tower. There's Jersey City, once again, Statue of Liberty way over there, Ellis Island, and then just looking down on all these skyscrapers and all the little cars driving around the streets below. And then here's Dennis. Hi, Dennis. Did you get to see all the things you wanted to see?
Yep.
What was your favorite view? The north, south, east, west? Did you like seeing up Manhattan towards Midtown?
Yeah,
Did you like looking towards the statue, towards Jersey, Brooklyn?
I like looking at Midtown, I like looking at Ellis Island, Statue of Liberty, and also Brooklyn.
Oh, so you don't like this view?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So that's my completed kind of circle around the tower. There's the sky portal again. All right, so I think we've seen everything that we want to see all the way up here on the observation deck of the One World Trade Center. So we are gonna go ahead and head, I guess, back onto that really cool, fancy elevator. There's the family right there. I don't know where we're going next, but we'll figure it out. All right, I'm back into the elevator here. Hopefully it does something as interesting on the way down, right?
Oh boy.
Oh no, we're outside the building. We're falling.
Wow.
So that's cool.
Thank you for visiting One World Observatory.
Did you look at the thing?
Wow.
Wow.
I was a little
Going
distracted.
down really fast.
Those were the elevators back there, and now we are back where we started when we came in. So now we're going to a place called Brookfield Place, which, as I understand, has a lot of shopping and dining opportunities. So maybe we can get some souvenirs there from the trip, or for the trip. So that was the World Trade Center, and now we're heading over here for Brookfield Place, which is a privately owned space designated and intended for the use and enjoyment by the general public for passive recreation. There's the family up there. Wow, this is a steep escalator. Whew. This seems pretty high-end and pretty fancy. Brookfield Place. Scratch that, this looks very high-end and fancy. Gucci. Oh man, I feel like I don't belong. Yeah, especially with the marble flooring and staircases, and here I am in my Krispy Kreme shirt. It's very beautiful though. This is a place that Dennis specifically wanted to come and check out. Ooh,
Not really specific.
the backlight. Not specifically?
Mine, it was next door and it was rated highly online, so why not look at
Interesting. Do you want to go to Gucci and get a handbag?
it? Gucci Mane!
All right, I think we're heading outside to see what it looks like outside. I do like the giant window though. It's very pretty. And here we go. We are now outside at Brookfield Place. It's a really, really nice view of the water out here. A bunch of sailboats over there. What do you think, Mom? Cool, huh?
There he is. Yeah, this is nice.
Is Dad coming? There's Dad. And there's the other side of that giant window. So we were gonna try to see if we could hop on a ferry to go to Ellis Island and Liberty Island and all that, but apparently the ferries stopped running around 3:30 and it's around 4:30 right now. So we're gonna have to try to figure out what else to do. I'd like to try to go to the New York Public Library as well as Penn Station. What we end up doing is kind of contingent on how everybody feels, as well as the sun going down in about 3 hours, as well as kind of like where we are, where the metro is, how far we want to walk, when we want to get dinner, that kind of stuff, I guess. So we'll see where we go. Today's our last day though. So if we could kind of like optimize getting to check out stuff like that, getting to go to places that we wanted to see just for like the historical aspect of them, that would be kind of cool for me. All right, I think we decided we're gonna go to the New York Public Library. There's the Freedom Tower all the way. You can't even see it, it's so like blown out and backlit, but it's all the way up there. We just came out of Brookfield Place. And I have nothing else to say. We're gonna go to the New York Public Library. All right, so now we're following Dennis's instructions and his guidance and leadership, per usual, to go to a subway.
As I always wanted!
To, I think, transfer lines and then walk to the New York Public Library. And here's one more look, shrouded by a tree, thanks a lot tree, of the One World Trade Center. Actually, I take that back. We realized that we never actually came over here to look at the memorial fountains. So we're gonna come back and take a quick look at them and then be off to the subway. So right here, this is the fountain where the North Tower was. You can see how it cascades over the side of waterfalls into this pool right here, then continues to waterfall into the center there. All the victims are etched on to the sides around this entire area, and then the south fountain, I believe, is over there because this is the 9/11 memorial that we went inside. And it's crazy because we were underneath both of these fountains walking around the foundations of the actual World Trade Center buildings themselves. There's a sign that says on victims' birthdays they place roses on the names of the victims, so if you see a rose it means it was their birthday. So now we're gonna head over to the subway now, I believe, and then take that to walk over to the New York Public Library. But it was really, really cool to see this again. I've seen this once before when I came about 5 years ago or so. Alright, so we made it down to the subway. We're gonna hop on this bad boy. Well, not this one, actually. We're gonna go on one over here and take it to the New York Public Library. Nope, I lied. We are not getting on this train. We're getting on this train. Doesn't really give you much of a bearing, but that's what's happening. Just got off of that train. Now we're heading downstairs to transfer to a different train to head over to the New York Public Library. It is definitely pretty busy right now. It's about 5 o'clock, so it's rush hour traffic. And we just disembarked that train. I realized that my sense of orientation really does nothing for you as the viewer, but what it does do is it helps orient myself, so I can look back on this later and I can be like, oh, that's where I was and that's where I went. You doing okay, mama? Yeah. You doing? Enjoying the stairs? So that's the New York Public Library. All right, so now we're going in the side entrance, I believe. The library closes in about half an hour, so we're gonna see what we can see inside before we can't. So our first stop of the tour is in the Children's Center for this. These are the original Winnie the Pooh stuffed animals. That's Eeyore, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Kanga, and Piglet down here. And this is really interesting. It's a little bit on the creepy side, almost. I've heard that these were here, and I'm actually really excited that I'm getting to see them for the first time. It's interesting that they would be in the Children's Center, part of the New York Public Library. Wow. That is absolutely so cool to see right there. The real Winnie the Pooh. Long before Pooh and his pals became famous, Christopher Robin Milne, a very real little boy, received a small stuffed bear for his first birthday in 1921. Soon after came even more stuffed animals: Kanga, Piglet, Eeyore, and Tigger, whom Christopher played with throughout his childhood. One day his father, A.A. Milne, decided that the toys would make fine characters in a bedtime story. From that day on, Pooh and his friends have had many fanciful adventures in Milne's timeless classics. So there's Christopher Robin, and then there's Winnie the Pooh right there and right there. So we came upstairs for this, the Rose Main reading room. It's a very, very big, very famous room. So I think we need to go, I guess, to the right over here to go check it out. That's where we came from, over there, and there's a few different wings. Dennis went over here. There's another one right behind me over here, but just looking at the architecture in here is absolutely incredible, and I wish we had more than about 20 minutes or so to explore it, but let's head back over here. So there's actually two rooms back here, a north room right over there where there's no photography allowed, and then this room, this is the south rose room back here, and it's very, very quiet, but it's also really, really cool. Checking out the architecture up here and everything. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. Wow, that is so cool. Sorry, the camera got blurry for a second. The light back here is not the best. There were a lot of famous movies that were filmed in the Rose Room. I don't know if they were filmed in north or the south areas, but movies like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 3, Sex and the City, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Ghostbusters. Those were all filmed here. The library closes in about 5 minutes, so we have to head out now, but that was kind of the main draw, wanting to check that out inside the library and then going out to the front of the library too. Alright, so the library is officially now closed, but we get to see probably one of the most important rooms in it. Other than the front entrance, it's also pretty famous, the front entrance facade. But we did it, Dennis. We get to see the Rose Room. That was cool. That was really cool. That was my first time inside the New York Public Library. I do want to go around the other side, I think, to see the other side facing the park. But there it is, the New York Public Library. Super, super, super famous. There's even the stone lion over there, as well as the one over here too. Wow, this is really cool. I've only ever really like seen the facade at like, well no, I've been here before, but it reminds me a lot of the Universal Studios facade over in the New York section of the park. So around the back side of the New York Public Library is this area. This is Bryant Park right here. Getting a selfie, mama?
I did it.
I came here once, I remember for sure about 5 years ago. So kind of a quick story, this bathroom right here, right outside the New York Public Library. Last time that I came, which was about 5 years ago, I came with my friend Jorge and I met up with Travis who lived in Philadelphia at the time. We came to this bathroom and when we came to this bathroom, it smelled so bad. It smelled like something died in there like 10 years ago and was still in there. It was just the worst bathroom experience I've ever had, and I just went in there just to see, and it's actually so freaking fancy in there right now. I think somebody goes in and cleans the stalls after every single person uses it. Somebody like sprays down everything and wipes it down, make sure it's clean and sprays really nice smells around the bathroom as well, from what I can tell, because it smells really nice. So that's really cool, kind of a neat full circle experience there, having a terrible experience and now a really, really nice experience in there. Cool. And now it's back down into the subway to catch a metro to go to dinner, right Dennis? He said yeah. All right, and this is us right here. Do we have to take a connecting one, Dennis? Or is this gonna take us directly back?
Connecting.
We have to connect? All right, just got off of this train, but we just have to transfer, I guess, to one train that'll take us directly to our hotel. Well, we're not really going to the hotel. We're gonna go to a place that's a couple blocks from the hotel, but it's gonna be a good kind of like vantage point to get back to the hotel, so that's why I mentioned it, I guess. I wish I could be like, oh, we just took this train and transferred to this station and hopped up here to hop onto this line, and it's just so confusing, so it just doesn't really make much of a point to try to do that, but I don't know. We're just going all over the place today. Good Lord, look how busy it is here. This is crazy. I hope we can get on a train here soon. Never seen it this busy. All right, so we are on our train right now. Gonna take this to, I believe, the next stop and then go straight to dinner. And we made it to 57th Street, which is just a couple blocks from our hotel and a couple blocks from where we're getting some dinner. We're getting some Japanese shish kebabs, I think, what Dennis told me. There's Mom and Dad. Just popped out of the subway station. There's Carnegie Hall right there, which means our hotel is right there. As for this place we're having dinner, I think Dennis is trying to figure it out, but I'm pretty sure it's just a couple blocks away as well. So we actually passed by the hotel on the way to dinner. So because I've been so cold, I decided to run upstairs and grab my jacket because I've been trying to like wear my short sleeve shirts like a badge of honor, but I gave in to the cold because it's very cold. So I'm walking to catch up with Dennis and the family, and right over there is the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. That's really cool. I didn't know that was over in this part of town. There we go. It is a place called Yakitori Totto. Dennis said it was on the second floor. All right, so we're inside Yakitori Totto right now. We're waiting to be seated. You can see over there that they're making the skewers, the shish kebabs, whatever they are. They're making them on hot coals. So as soon as we're seated, we'll enjoy some dinner. All right, so we have our table kind of back here in the back room, and we are checking out the menu right now. This is the Yakitori. So I think we're gonna get either 5 or 6 skewers here. They have chicken, they have different parts of chicken, they have pork, they have beef, they have seafood here as well as vegetables. So we're looking at something like this. This is a chicken oyster right here. There's a lot of just different parts of the chicken. I don't know, I'll figure it out and we'll see what we get. So these are our appetizers. Croquet is that one right there, and gyoza right here. Go for it. Dig in. All right, so it took a little bit, but all of these skewers are finally here. Everybody else ate theirs, but I was waiting for all of mine to get here, so I want to go over what each one is just real quick. This is negima, which is chicken breast right there. This right here, this is negipon, which is pork with scallion. This right over here, this is chicken oyster, which is a very rare part of a thigh, I suppose. This up here, this is kalbi, which is short ribs. And then this over here This is, what is this? Hotate, which is scallop. Awesome. And I don't know what that is.
Bacon wrapped asparagus.
That's not mine. Is it?
It's okay, just say what it is.
Alright, yeah. This is bacon wrapped asparagus that somebody gave me. Alright, we are all done with dinner. Dennis, that was delicious! That was so yummy. Now where are we going, Mama?
Cheesecake.
We're gonna go get some cheesecake.
That's the perfect way to end our trip, right?
You can't see it because of the scaffolding, but we sat right up there in the second story window, right there in our own little corner. It was nice and intimate, right? Yep. All right, we are on our way to get our cheesecake, and we're passing by the Late Show with Stephen Colbert marquee. Wait, I wasn't in that. Too bad. So on our way to get some cheesecake, we stopped into one of the many New York gift stores to get a little novelty souvenir. So I'm getting this to bring it back home to Brennan because I thought it was funny. I don't know. I like King Kong. Hooray for having a cheesy tourist souvenir. Right across the street is the Stardust Cafe, which is where we went for breakfast yesterday. So we've made it down to Times Square. We're going to a place called Junior's to get our cheesecake. My battery on my camera's gonna die here soon, so if it cuts out, then you'll know why. But this is where we're getting our cheesecake. All right, check out these cheesecake options right here. All right, we got 4 different kinds of cheesecakes, and we are heading back to the hotel now, right, guys? Hi, so my camera totally died on the way back from getting our cheesecakes. Let me show you which ones we got here. Hopefully my dad doesn't sit on it. Careful there, Dad. We also went to another like New York gifts novelty store, and we got some t-shirts, and I tried to film that, but my camera died, so I couldn't. But let me show you these cheesecakes because they're awesome. So we got 4 different cheesecakes here. Blueberry right here. This one is cherry. This one is strawberry. And then this is a brownie explosion cheesecake. So we got 4 so we could like mix and match and we could all share them. And then these are the shirts that we got. I got one for Brennan. Of course, got her a nice maroon one. Got my mom a black one here, and then I got, no, that's not black, that's gray, that's mine. And then got my mom a nice black one. And then in addition to that, you're welcome. And then got Brennan the little King Kong statue right there. So we're gonna go ahead and delve into this right now.
We love you.
Good night, Mom.
Safe travels tomorrow.
Will do. Have a good night's sleep.
All right.
I'll see you later.
Well, good night, babe. Love
That was
ya.
me saying good night and goodbye to my mama before I head back up. Goodbye, New York. Goodbye, Mom. She's so blurry. There she is. It's funny because all of our flight schedules tomorrow are different. So Travis and Christine left this morning. I leave tomorrow at 9:30, and then my parents leave around 11, I think, and then Dennis doesn't even leave until like 7 p.m. So we have to make our way back to the airport separately in different ways, but I have to wake up a little bit earlier than everybody else tomorrow. So I said my goodnight and my goodbyes tonight, at least to the parents. All right, so we are back in our hotel room right now after having a lot of cheesecake. We pretty much just exchanged all the different cheesecakes that we had until we all had some, and it was a lot of cheesecake, but it was really good. And we kind of just talked about our day today and our entire trip, our experience in New York City, and just how much fun that we've had. And it just kind of made me reflect on how incredible that this trip has been, in the fact that we've been here for 5 days, and just the amount of things that we've seen, the performances, the entertainment, just the historical places of significance, and the cruise that we went on. We went to the top of the Freedom Tower. We have just done so much, and even the things that I didn't vlog, but because I can't vlog everything, I do want to be able to experience things too, and I kind of just bring out my camera and film things when I think that they're appropriate or they contribute to the narrative that I'm trying to construct for this channel. There's a lot of people honking cars outside, but that is New York City for you, I guess. One thing that I didn't talk about too much was our experience today at the 9/11 Memorial, specifically the exhibition that we were not allowed to film or take pictures in. I showed a lot of the memorial, but the actual inside the museum that we weren't allowed to take pictures, it was very thorough and detailed of the entire 9/11 I guess experience and everything that led up to 9/11, the event itself, the aftermath, all the social, political, socioeconomic relations, and how the country dealt with that, the patriotism, the foreign relations, just everything about 9/11 that I didn't even possibly fathom. I learned about today, and it was absolutely humbling. It was such a solemn experience, but it was something that I really appreciate getting to do. And I'm glad that I wasn't able to film it, because it kind of would have felt like a disrespect to the event itself, and then there was so much to film that I kind of would have probably been overwhelmed in trying to show what I thought was significant when literally everything was significant. And the thing that really got me the most, I think, of all the things were all the voicemails that people were leaving, whether from the hijacked planes to people on the ground trying to search for and find their loved ones. And I think one that got to me the most, I actually got like kind of emotional. Like it was, I believe it was a message written to someone's partner that they knew had perished in 9/11, and in this statement she said something along the lines of, even though today was the most terrible day in history, I still don't want it to end because it's still a day that I shared with you. And that is something that kind of just chills me to the bone. And just seeing all of the significant artifacts and getting to see parts of the plane that were part of the incident, getting to see seatbelts and shrapnel from the buildings, and just the timeline of the event and the video, and listening to the audio clips and stuff. It was absolutely overwhelming. Not in a good way, but in a way that just made me feel privileged to be able to learn about that, and in a safe space. And I've been to the 9/11 memorial again 5 years ago, but I never went down into the actual museum, I guess. I just kind of went outside and looked at the fountains there. So to go down into that and just to kind of see the expanse of that museum collection was very incredible. And I didn't mean to talk that entire time about that, but I wanted to kind of bring it up because I kind of just glossed over that when we were kind of moving from the 9/11 memorial and then into the One World Trade Center, because we kind of had a lot of stuff to do today very fast, which is why my camera died, because the past few days we've been doing these 3-hour rehearsals that I haven't been filming, or we've been going to a Broadway show, and today was just one full day of stuff, and I forgot to charge one of my batteries last night, so that's why my camera died. And I always say I don't want to talk too much, but I need to talk about this stuff because this is why I vlog these things, so that I can watch them back later, and I can it helps me implant things in my brain for my future self to appreciate and kind of connect the dots of my whole cohesive experience in my trip. And I know that all of these videos have probably been really long, and I am sorry about that, but also kind of not, because this was an awesome trip. And so I think I'm gonna go and say goodnight for tonight, because I have to wake up pretty early tomorrow to hop on the metro, to hop on a bus over in Queens, to then go to LaGuardia Airport to hop on a plane over there, hopefully, and then fly back home to Orlando. So that's my kind of plan tomorrow. I'll probably go and film that tomorrow, maybe like a shorter video comparatively to this entire trip in general, but it was a good trip, and I'm really glad that you got to come along for it. So, hey Dennis, do you have anything to add at all? You've just been kind of standing there the entire time I've been talking, right?
Yes.
And he has nothing to add. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and my family yet again. I'll see you later. Goodbye.